by Jamal January. It's more like the shot. That's the starter pistol, if you will.
Starter pistol.
And then Jamal January is out of the blocks.
Indeed.
And then take a little breath, look around, and then you'll see me coming out of the blocks. I'm Douglas Paul Washington II. You are listening to The Fans View, KZI's own sports show. We'll be on until 12 o'clock. We thank you for joining us, broadcasting live here from Austin, Texas. Brother, there's so much to get to.
There's
so much I want to talk about.
Indeed.
I want to start. We didn't do the pre-production talk about our topics.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to just float this first one to you and see where you're at. We selected Kawhi Leonard. And now Kawhi Leonard is not going to play for Team USA.
Literally.
And we're going to go to someone else. But let me back up on Kawhi Leonard.
Mm-hmm.
Bro, do you think the LA Clippers just ruined our best shot at getting a gold because they're selfish about their investment, or they're just playing big business? Where are you at on this?
I don't think they ruined our best shot just because I don't think Kawhi is the best player on Team USA, you know. But I literally can't wait to get into who I think should have been his substitute.
Oh, okay. So we're gonna get to that then.
Mm-hmm.
So then on this topic, I'm just gonna say this one thing.
Yeah.
Should he have shown up?
No.
The Clippers and him. So for those who don't know, Kawhi Leonard plays for the LA Clippers. He's from that area, and he hurt himself and the second half of the season, he was starting to come back, and then he did shut it down for playoffs, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then so he got better after all that, and he thought, I can come.
Typical where's Kawhi?
Yeah, but what I saw, Jamal, I don't know if you saw. You're a little more cool than I am, and I saw on social media, because I got that time, everybody walking up. Anthony Edwards showed up with a milkshake.
Yep.
Kawhi showed up with an old man limp, like your uncle does at the cookout. And right then and there, I was like, bro, is he limping? I remember thinking that. Is that a limp? Because it ain't a pimp. Like, we know what the pimp. You know how you walk. Yeah. I don't know. Your generation don't do that though. Y'all don't do that.
Man, we know a little something about the pimp walk.
Okay. So there's a little bit of walk that y'all do.
Yeah,
it's a little more pronounced for my generation. Like you gotta let somebody, especially if you got a chain. You gotta let that chain swing when you do it. But okay.
Speaking of letting the chain swings, I see you with the
yeah, a little vacation
man,
flow.
got the Kappa red on and everything.
Yeah, and the custom airbrush Kappa Converse to go with my Kiss My favorite movie of all time. Hey, one of the members, the star of this, is coming to Comic-Con. He's coming to here, Austin. So I've never met him. This is my favorite movie of all time. I'm talking about The Last Dragon. Came out in 1985, and bro, I've already signed up. I'm getting an autograph. I'm gonna meet him.
Was that the one with Kareem?
No.
Okay.
That would be Game of Death with Bruce Lee.
Okay, cool. Gotcha.
But that's all right. It's all right. It ain't your generation. Yeah. It ain't yours. Mm-hmm. But okay, so then to your point, if you're gonna take Kawhi off, you gotta put someone else on. Now they decided to go with Derek White from the Boston Celtics. A great story.
Yep.
But wow, you go from Kawhi Leonard to Derek White. It sounds like you thought that maybe we should have gone a different direction than Derek White.
I think we should have gone with Jaylen Brown.
Huh.
I'm just thinking.
Yeah.
If we are taking somebody else from the Celtics,
okay,
why not take the Eastern Conference Finals MVP and the NBA Finals MVP?
Okay. Do you run USA Basketball?
I actually do not run in USA Basketball.
Grant Hill runs USA Basketball. Are you telling me, sir, that if you had a chance to talk to Grant Hill, you may have a little bit of an attitude?
Absolutely.
and you would say, yo, Grant, what was you thinking?
Absolutely.
I think a lot of people are along that. Can I read to you what his why he said that he decided to do that? I'm just kind of curious if this is going to sway you. You've seen it, right? So he said, we just felt that we had to pivot and not go into the particulars in terms of what went into the decision, but we just felt it was in our best interest, but also in the Clippers and Kawhi's best interest to move into a different direction. Yep. That's why. Now, we tried. I think we all tried, and we gave it a valiant effort. And unfortunately, we have to move forward. Now, okay, so we got on why you're moving on from Kawhi. Now I need to know, why exactly would you not go with a third person from the Celtics to be on that? And that's the hard part. I think that's where a lot of people feel it. He says you get 12 spots and you have to build a team. This is Grant Hill, and this is according to ESPN.com. And one of the hardest things is leaving people off the roster that I'm a fan of, that I look forward to watching throughout the season, throughout the playoffs. Guys who have been Finals MVPs, guys who've been a part of the program. Now he said guys who've been Finals MVPs. Did Jaylen Brown was he just the Finals MVP?
He was just the Finals MVP,
Okay,
and the Eastern Conference MVP.
Okay, so he might have been talking about your guy. He said guys who I respect, admire, and enjoy watching. So you think he respects, admires, and enjoys watching Jaylen Brown play?
He probably enjoys watching Jaylen Brown.
I
I don't know if he respects him. How do you not pick Jaylen Brown? I just don't get it, man.
Okay.
The guy's a dog. He proved it.
Well, is he a bark kind of dog? Or is he the woof? Because Grant Hill overlooked him. We got a call.
Yeah.
Let's get that. You're live on the air. Thanks for calling.
Yeah, hey, what's going on?
Hey, what's going on? Man, you got in quick. You got in early.
Yeah, but I got things to do, you know what I'm saying? So I'm trying to get...
Hey, we on your clock, brother. Mr. Oklahoma's in the building. Long-time listener, long-time caller. For those who may not know, what's up, Mr. Oklahoma?
Yeah, you know that I watched that. Was that Olympic is that the Olympic basketball or this trial?
The NBA showcase, that's what it was that you watched, Mr. Oklahoma. I'm assuming you're talking about Team USA versus Canada.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, they've been showing it, man. They've been showing it all week, you know.
Just a little. It was
And
just.
I think,
Go ahead.
yeah, and I think they should have Jaylen Brown in that too. You know what I'm saying?
Why is it? Why do you think they should have Jaylen Brown in there?
Yeah, because man, I think Jaylen Brown, man. I mean, he did good in the playoffs. You know, they won the championship, but I think he should really be there.
Yeah, he really proved himself, right?
He proved himself.
But Mr. Oklahoma, everyone else says he can't go left. He can't dribble left. That's the guy you want representing America. When scouting reports are that he can't go left, you're still gonna want that guy to represent.
Yeah, I didn't understand. You're breaking up a little bit. Say that again.
Yeah, sorry. We did hear that there's some technical difficulty from our previous show. The scouting report is that Jaylen Brown can't go left. You know, there's jokes and things like that. So, but all that factors in. You overlook that, and you would want him to still be the representative, is what you're saying, even though I'm saying he can't go left?
Yeah, but I would still pick Jaylen Brown because, you know, he won the award last night on the SPs last night.
Okay. No, it's...
Yeah, he won the award on the SPs last night.
Yeah, no, it's a good
But
point.
I still would pick him. I still would pick Jaylen Brown over what's name, Derrick White. I would still pick Jaylen Brown.
As well, you should. So the reply is that they said they needed a guard. They wanted to go smaller with a guard. I don't like that. We know LeBron is a point forward.
Absolutely.
He could bring the ball up. Steph Curry could bring the ball up if we had to.
Yeah.
Anthony Edwards, honestly, I like his dribble. I think he could bring the ball up.
You talking about Ant-Man?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I think he could. I think he could against the world's best. And so, me personally, I think we need to get big. Look, Jokic is out there. There's some big Europeans out there. So that's where I go. And I'm a small guy. I'm a guard, but I think I would have wanted to go bigger.
I'm a guard too.
Yeah, I would have gone bigger.
Especially when we got the Eiffel Towers waiting for us on Team France.
And don't forget, Kevin Durant is nursing a calf strain, which is height for us. He's a 7-footer. And so, again, we're going smaller.
Yep.
If Kevin Durant, when we're going to get him, if Kevin Durant is going to stay on the sideline for however long he's going to be on the sideline, he's holding a spot that we didn't replace, and he's 7 foot.
Yep.
So those are all factors there. What else? What else say you, Mr. Oklahoma?
Well, I'm gonna tell you, I don't think Kevin Durant needs to be there.
Oh,
I don't think he needs to be there because they told what's his name to go home for the Clippers, because he wasn't healthy. Kevin Durant needs to go home. That's what I believe.
ooh, he said that into the microphone here in Austin, Texas.
He sure did.
Of a proud Longhorn.
KD listening.
We all. I mean, I think when people talk about Longhorn basketball, a lot of us lead with Kevin Durant. Well, we had Kevin Durant. Yeah. we brought him all the way. This dude is from D.C. We brought him all the way from the other side of the country. Okay, well, I mean, you said it. That's your opinion, sir. I'm in agreement, though.
Hey,
I agree with you, though, because the calf strain. This is not a load management atmosphere at the USA. We need all gas, no brakes. When Eric Spoelstra is asked by Steve Kerr, is this how LeBron always practices at 100%, all this speed? And Eric Spoelstra says of every day, of every practice. That's what I want to hear when we're look. How many Europeans were selected in this last draft? No one's afraid of us anymore.
That's facts.
We have to. This is our opportunity to say, America, we got this. It's bad enough in track. You talk to me, track guy.
Yeah.
It's bad enough in track. We may not be able to beat a small little island country called Jamaica with all this talent we got. So what are we gonna dominate? Look, you got a bunch of people from the continent of Africa that just run and run and run and run. So we may not win the distance there. So if other people are taking sprints and we can't beat select Africans in distance, what else, Mr. Oklahoma? You want to talk Olympics? We're there.
Yeah, I want to talk. They were talking about. They think Texas and Georgia gonna be in the championship in their conference. They think they're gonna be in the championship.
Is that possible? I don't think it is.
I think it's possible, depending on where you land. Like if you're a 1 and a 4, well, like a 1 and a 3, I think can do it. Because I think the 1 has to play the 4. And
I think he was talking about for the SEC. Wait, Mr. Oklahoma, were you talking about for the SEC conference or for the
national championship?
Yeah, for the SEC conference.
Yeah, that's what I was like. I think that's possible because aren't they on the same?
They're both East.
East.
No.
Or West or I think one's South, one's East because it's Southeastern Conference.
Okay.
Right?
No. They break it up into East and West.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we could have. I mean,
is it possible?
I'm interested. I will look at that.
So I think because it's such an unbalanced schedule now, I don't think they have divisions anymore.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
So yeah.
Wow.
Because you have 3 common opponents that you play every year.
Yeah.
And they rotate your other 4 games. And I mean I don't even know for sure if they're going to go like home and then rotate it and then home and home. I don't even know how they're going to do all of that. But I think they decided to go divisionless. It's sort of the way that the Big 12 was doing it before. And once you get to a certain amount of teams, and the SEC's had some issues with this in the past, where an Alabama coming out of the West and then the team coming out of the East. While they were good, and they were probably ranked 7 or 8, 9 in the country, something like that, weren't quite up to par, and that there were other better, there were a lot of people who wanted like Alabama Georgia rematches for that game, right? And so I think I think they went divisionless so they could just take the top 2 teams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good question though.
Hey,
It's a good point.
And I'll tell you one thing, man. Don't forget about the Big 12, man, because the Big 12 is going to be interesting. And I'm interested to see what Colorado going to do with Deion Sanders because they talking about his son and all that, man. But I'm not sold on it. This year's going to make a difference for Deion Sanders' son. Because I'm not sold on Deion Sanders' son. I'm not sold on it yet.
It's funny you mentioned that, Mr. Oklahoma, because when I watch Colorado play and I watch Shedeur Sanders, he's a fantastic athlete, and I think he's a really good quarterback, right? I'm not trying to degrade his quarterback skills by saying he's a great athlete.
Yeah,
I'm just saying he happens to be another one of these young players who, in addition to, because I think he throws a really good football.
He does.
I think he spins it really well. I do wonder if it translates to the NFL, but that's a different question, right? We've wondered that about a lot of players over the years. Heck, we wondered it about Vince Young. There was no doubt. We don't have to reopen the Reggie Bush whole thing again, but to me there was no doubt Vince Young was the best player in college football, but we all questioned whether he was going to be a really good NFL quarterback or not, just on skill sets and the things that he did.
Yeah.
I think I believe Shedeur Sanders throws the ball a lot better than Vince Young ever did.
Yeah.
But I'm right there with you in that I think he's set up to have a great year this year. I also think that the way they finished the year last year and not being able to stand up to the conference competition, this is a really big proving year for Shedeur. Not necessarily for the Colorado program. Once again, they had 43 transfers come in. This is Deion still trying to get this roster right.
Yep.
I think they'll be better than they were last year record-wise, but this is another, if we're talking about Shedeur Sanders and where he's going to finish the year and what kind of draft stock it is, this is a big year. He needs to play better once they get into conference competition than he played last year.
Absolutely. And also, not to throw no shade on the Big 12 at all, but with Texas and OU leaving, I think the Big 12 is definitely a lot weaker than what the Pac-12 was last season, So, I agree with you.
Yeah, I want to say this before I get off the phone, man. My Astros looking good right now, but I'm not sold yet.
Okay.
Still in the first half, like they looking good right now, but it's too early for me, man. They're in the first half. I wait for the second half.
Yeah, they got to stay healthy. They got to stay healthy.
You know what I'm saying? But hey, look here. Hey, I'm gonna talk with y'all later, man. Cause y'all breaking up. I can't really hear y'all that good. But y'all breaking up. But,
all right.
Hey, I'll talk with y'all next week.
Thank you, Mr. Oklahoma. We appreciate it.
We got partly cloudy skies. Sometimes that signal's bouncing off those clouds. If you guys can go to the TuneIn app, search KZI or KZIFM.org. We're streaming all over the world. So I think our locals are just struggling with the signal.
Yeah, I wonder, he's listening on he's obviously talking to us on the phone. I'm wondering if there's some translation error between our microphone feeding into the phone system. There's been a lot of phone system issues over the last week since Barrow came through.
Yes.
And so, I feel for AT&T and Spectrum and all the providers out there who are having to deal with trying to get transmission lines back up, and so we'll continue to work through that here at the station as well.
I was curious just on that last part that he was talking about when it comes to Sanders and so Andrew Luck. I was looking at it. Andrew Luck in 2010 finished second for the Heisman. 2011, so he finished second twice and didn't win the Heisman there. And then I looked at his stats, his total yards. That last year was one of his worst years. I think he only had 2,500 yards versus he was like 33, 35 the other ones. So I'm just saying, how many quarterbacks? Look at Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes at Texas Tech didn't win a national championship, and look, he's a great guy. So should we judge Shedeur off of all of this? 43 transfers. It's a piecemeal situation there, and I don't know if we should hold that against him because there's been a lot of quarterbacks. Tom Brady, when Tom Brady came into the league, we weren't saying Tom Brady was a world beater, and now many consider him the GOAT. So I think that there is a difference between the two, and I enjoyed the whole Colorado show last year. I don't expect them to win a national championship. Not even looking at if they go 8. I don't know how many games they're gonna have. If they go 8-4, 8-5, I'm enjoying that, and that's cool for me, and it's great for the story. But I don't expect them to win a national championship. Not even close.
No, and it's always out. We talk about this a lot, right? Is because there's only one position on the field where we talk about wins and losses, right? Nobody talks about the win-loss record of a running back.
No.
Or a wide receiver.
No.
Or an offensive lineman or a edge rusher.
Nope.
Nobody talks about it.
Yep.
But when it comes to quarterback, we talk about the win-loss record. So I'm also not trying to be unfair to Shedeur Sanders, because I'm not saying that if they go 6-6 this year, that Shedeur Sanders, that's going to be an indictment on him. I want to see how he plays. I want to see how he plays in those losses, right? And I think that was the big thing is we found out that Colorado, because of the massive number of changes they had last year, as time went on, they weren't as gelled together and complete a team as, surprise, surprise, Washington and Oregon and the other teams in the Pac-12, right?
So
they were going up against some solidified top 15 programs in essentially a brand new roster Colorado team, and so it's I don't want that's judging them against how they did last year and finished is completely unfair. It's going to be likewise. I think Dion believes that they are going to contend for the conference championship, and they very well may. But if they fall off at the end of the year and stumble a couple of times, I'm also going to say that this year is another year that when you have 43 transfers into your program, that's changing over a lot of your roster.
Yeah.
And in the days of transfers, you don't bring in transfers to sit them on the bench for a year or two. You're bringing in transfers that step into positions and play for you.
Yeah.
So we're going to probably see Colorado line up with 15 to 18 of those 43 transfers on the football field at any given time on offense or defense. That's a lot of turnover.
The rarity, so we look at UConn going back to back, right? But when we think of what Dawn Staley did when she just won the national championship, but that's basketball, and that's only 5 people, starters, 5 starters. They can only be on at one time, right?
Yep.
And I'd have to look, but she probably only went maybe 8 deep on her roster. I don't know how deep she went there.
Yeah.
So I want to look back at this then. When we're judging college quarterbacks and they transfer to the NFL. Think about Cam Newton and what he did with Auburn. One of the greatest, and I know I'm talking to some Vince Young fans. Y'all know I'm not from Texas, but I still, I say this not just because y'all are in front of me, still the greatest Superman effort I've ever seen. And I'm a Mike Vick fan. And what he did against Florida State, which was my team,
right.
and I'm from Virginia where Mike Vick is from. So when I say that what Vince Young did was the greatest, it was amazing. But think about what Cam Newton has. That Auburn team, can you go back and say, like, he had, what NFL talent did he have on that roster?
Emory Blake.
Now, when you think about Joe Burrow and what he did, he had Jamar Chase, Jefferson, Clyde Edwards-Helaire on his team. And I don't mean to take nothing from Cool Joe, because I love Cool Joe. I'm a fan. So that's, when we look back at this team from Shedeur, I don't know if we're going to be able to say what NFL talent he had on that roster.
Right, because look, I guess the immediate one is Travis Hunter, right? But and let's hope that Travis Hunter stays healthy this year.
Yes. Oh, that was
because he is talk about a fantastic football player,
an athlete.
I've watching him last year, and the way he can play step up, bump and run coverage, and then flip over to the other side of the field and run routes and catch the ball the way he does on the wide receiver side. If I'm an NFL GM, and I get it, when you get to the NFL, you don't want to stretch guys too thin. But when you got a guy who's able to play 80 snaps a game, and at the end of the game looks as fresh on both sides of the ball as he did at the beginning of the game, you'd be crazy not to use him in some form or fashion.
Oh, I'm thinking money.
Yeah.
I'm thinking marketing.
I mean, I'm going to draft him as a shutdown corner.
Yeah.
But then he's going to train extensively, probably at the slot receiver position, and get 30 slaps a game at least on the offensive side of the ball for him.
At least for the rookie contract.
Exactly.
At least for the rookie contract, play him both ways.
Yeah.
He's an old man after the rookie contract.
Yeah.
So maybe you don't do it. Maybe then you choose how you use them. But you've got what, 4 years of data, of tape to review when you make that decision.
Yeah.
So that's it. that's where I would be.
Yeah, exactly. So, hey, we are up against our first break, so we're going to get to our break, come back on the other side. We got lots more to talk about. We got an All-Star game coming up. We've got we did have the ESPY Awards last night. I didn't watch them. I don't know if but we'll talk about a lot of other stuff right here on the Fans View KAZI. We're back on the Fans View KAZI 88.7. Travis Kent alongside Jamal January, Douglas Washington. No Corey today. He's on assignment. Not for us, for the people that pay him.
Out in the sun too.
That'd be funny. That'd be funny if I sent him on assignment. Hey Corey, would you go cover something for the Fans View? He's like, what? He goes, there ain't no expense account on at
I was gonna say, that was the first thing I was thinking. On what budget?
Real quick. So the American Century Championship. Anybody keep up with the American Century Championship? It's the celebrity golf tournament, right?
Really?
Yeah.
The one they play out in Lake Tahoe. I was out in Tahoe a little over a month ago and went down to Edgewood Country Club. It's a beautiful golf course, a beautiful setting.
But Steph Curry's not there.
Well, so Steph is the defending champion. Steph's defending champion, and he can't defend.
Yes.
Because of the pesky Olympics.
How dare national pride get in the way?
So that paves the way for Tony Romo to step back in.
Hey, go get it, Tony.
So, but no, I do. I only mention that because it is one of the most beautiful settings of a golf tournament you can see, and it really is entertaining on TV. NBC televises it. If you have Peacock, I'm sure they have coverage on Peacock as well. Obviously, there's that par 3 hole where people are shooting baskets and throwing footballs back and forth, and the boats are all lined up out there in the lake, and it's a beautiful. It's a beautiful visual. So I just want to mention that. It's a fun tournament to watch every year.
I want to get to you. I know you went to Tahoe recently, more recent than us. I used to go to Tahoe a lot when I lived in California, Southern California. I'd go up there to snowboard a lot. I just got to know, have you ever thought about going to this tournament?
So I have thought about it, and I actually just found out, was it yesterday or the day before? I was talking to my dad, and my parents live in Tyler, up in East Texas, and my dad and we went out to Tahoe about a month and a half ago and had a really good time. It was a great trip, but one of his poker buddies in Tyler has a condo in Tahoe.
Oh, this is working out, Travis.
And he volunteers at the American Century Championship every year.
Whoa.
And so I'm like, well, I got to get a hookup on this now. So
I think you got to.
I have thought about going out there. What I've thought about doing is going out there for the weekend and then staying like 3 or 4 extra days, and then playing the course right after they play, right? So, but yeah, it is one of those trips. I'd love to go out there and watch that tournament.
I got to make a decision. My daughter's into golf. We can't pull the clubs out and swing enough, and I need to take her to a professional or an event like this, and this is a show. Like this is fun.
It is.
So now I have been paralysis by analysis on my part, because I'm like, oh, what should I take her? When we lived out in California. Oh, I don't remember what it is. I took my wife to a pro event, and she's not even a golf fan. So I got to figure out what I'm going to do here.
Well, I'll tell you what, and we can move on from golf after this, but the British Open's next week. We're going to talk golf next week for sure.
Oh yeah.
If you're, so I would suggest the Texas Open, the Valero Texas Open, which is in the spring every year. It's 2 weeks before the Masters. Great tournament. I love that course that they play it on. It's pretty easy to get in and out of the TP of that course down there, the AT&T Oaks course.
Yeah.
Great event. It's run really well. It's a nice golf course. It's pretty easy to walk. I would suggest that if you want to take the family to go see a golf tournament. On a side note, I don't know what people think about the LIV golf and all that. LIV has a tournament in Houston coming up in the early fall.
So I'm good with it. I'm good with LIV golf. It's not lost on me.
They branched out because I thought they were only focused in Saudi.
No, so they play all over. They play all over. Essentially, they essentially play an average of one tournament a month. They've sprinkled in a little more. They try to capitalize. They'll play their big players will play the major, and then there'll usually be an event the next week for Live Golf. They'll play, but they have an event coming up in Houston, and so I say it's a party atmosphere. They play music and things like that. Famously, the other day, Bryson DeChambeau criticized the Live Tour a little bit. No, I'm sorry, it was John Rahm. John Rahm, who joined the Live Tour this year, criticized it. They fly drones all over the place, and they use it as part of their TV coverage.
Yeah.
And he said, and he during one of his interviews said, he goes, I don't know how many times it happens, but right in the middle of my backswing, all of a sudden I hear this drone swoop down, and so he's not as happy with the drones as maybe some of the other people are. But yeah, so just put that on your radar.
Yeah.
That they'll be coming to Houston.
No, I didn't even think of local. I thought of road trips.
Sure, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I know my wife, she doesn't listen anyway, but I know my wife is probably like, oh, man, Tahoe, you got to fly you guys out there, all the cost associated.
Yeah.
So, no, don't say this into the microphone, Travis. I don't want her to keep me local. I like these road trips out of state that I take with my daughter. It's pretty fun.
Yeah, I hear you. So, we were talking. We were kind of all over the place. Real quickly, the Pac-12 had their media days this week.
Yeah,
For real?
They had a bar tab.
Oh.
Literally, they had a bar tab. They were at a hotel, and the commissioner got up during their speech and said, "Hey, let's just go over to the bar and have drinks."
What is it?
Golly.
Oregon State and Washington?
Oregon State and Washington State. That's it.
Why does it? I mean, they're not on the Pacific, but if I'm Notre Dame, I'm just walking over there. Like, literally.
You know, it's funny. You know, Washington State and Oregon State obviously did not find a home with one of the other power conferences. They have a scheduling arrangement with the WAC.
The WAC conference?
I'd have to look it up real quick. They have a scheduling arrangement with another conference to help them fill their game schedules out. Yeah. But they're holding on to they have 2 years that they can operate as a 2-team conference. They still have a TV contract. So it's bringing in revenue. And so they're going to hold on to that as long as they can before they finally have to make a decision. Each school will have to make a decision of where they're going to land at that point.
The math conference, the Pac-12 minus 10 conference.
Yeah.
I can't believe that there's a conference with only 2.
Yeah.
But the cocktail party at the Bellagio, yeah, that sounds it sounds like a fun conference. It sounds like a fun conference. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
How about let's bring up? There's some. What's the North Dakota State? Jackrabbits and the South Dakota, they're always good. Let's go ahead and bring them up to D1. They'll join, and it's not that bad travel for them. I mean, they don't have to drive across America to get there. Let's do that. Let's bring them in because they're a lot of fun. Because I'm tired of seeing them smack around everybody at the lower level.
Speaking of North Dakota State, that's game 1 for Colorado this year.
It sure is.
I know.
And I'm excited.
I'm kind of excited about that one, too.
Deion even spoke about it at the Big 12 Media Day conference.
That's a scary opening game.
It is.
I'm surprised
I am
they
too.
took it. Like to start your season off, because if they don't win this, you know how much Deion's gonna hear. Are you a real coach? You got outcoached and all this other stuff. But no, he's not hiding from it. He said, "I'm here. Y'all know where I'm at," and he's here for it. So
should be interesting.
Hey, either of you pay attention to 3-on-3 basketball?
I kind of do a little bit. Jimmer Fredette.
Oh, so I just wanted to mention. We have a call. I'm sorry. Let's jump into the calls.
Okay.
Hey, caller, you there? Hey, caller.
Hello?
You're on the air. Go ahead.
Okay, hey, check this out. This is West Texas, man.
Yeah, West Texas, man. How you doing?
I'm gonna let y'all know something that, this the local calls that can't really hear, because I'm calling from a regular phone. But just let me go ahead and just speak, and then I'll let y'all do what y'all need to do, baby.
Okay.
Y'all do best. Okay. Last time you asked about my Little League flag football team,
I haven't coached them in a year and a half.
Okay.
But the coaches I did leave them with, they're doing real good with those coaches.
Well, good.
And they're winning football games now. You know, I got off to a rocky start. Now they're winning games. They went to a different league. I was playing in a league where these kids been playing since they were babies. So now they're playing in the league, you know, competitive to them. So they're winning games now. Now, the reason I called, because last time I asked about the Cowboys, my radio or something messed up, and I didn't get to hear too much about them. So if you could just let me know what's going on with them and CeeDee Lamb and what we're going to be looking like, whether it's bad or good, I'm good with it, man. I'm a ride, you know, and that's all I got to say, and y'all be good.
All right, West Texas, man, we appreciate it.
Well, for those who don't know, if you're a first-time listener, Travis Kent is a fan of the Dallas Cowboys. So, I mean, to be honest, I think every episode, whether it's in season, off season, we talk Cowboys. But yeah, West Texas, I think we'll hook you up. I think we'll get into some today. But yeah, I think we always do. And you're always a good sport about it, Travis, because you know sometimes your team does some things that, well, when we're having a conversation, we're kind of laughing at you or with you, or we're asking you hard questions like, why didn't you go get King Henry, and why are you bringing Zeke back when you could have got King Henry, and why does Baltimore? We're asking you, why does the Baltimore Ravens have him and not your Cowboys? But you're always a good sport about it, whether it's fun for you or not. Hey, I'm gonna be in Plano this weekend.
Oh yeah,
I gotta go up tomorrow. My daughter's in a judo tournament.
Okay.
And then I'll be back up there in August. I'm gonna be in downtown Dallas celebrating my wedding anniversary, and staying in a couple places. So I'd love to talk to you about that. So I'll be in your neck of the woods. Yeah. And I was just kind of curious, if I'm up there, I need you to tell me a place I could take my wife to impress her. I need a restaurant. Okay. And then there's like a show, because I see so much, like there's Andretti's I see, and then there's there's so much. You guys have that big wheel. What's it called? It's technically a Ferris wheel, right? That's the big one. So I would love to know if you could tell me an attraction and a restaurant, because I want to impress her, man. This is our 10-year. It's the big one, right? This is the paper anniversary. It's the first big one. We get to double digits now. We've been together 14 years, but 10 years of marriage. So.
Good deal. Good deal.
Pressure's on you. Before the end of the show, you're going to have to give me something, Travis. I want everybody else to hear it.
Well, so for this weekend, are you going to swing through Arlington and go to the All-Star festivities? The Fan Fest opens today.
I know, and my daughters are serious baseball fans. We look at infield highlights all the time. I think we have to rush back because of dogs. Because of our dogs. Yeah, we weren't going to board them, and we have, we could get some friends to come over, but I considered it. Yeah, I have considered it. I just didn't want to push too hard.
No, I get it.
I don't want to get in trouble.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
So and I also, well, I don't know how long the tournament's going to be, but so yeah, you're going to have to give me a restaurant. Okay. And we're flexible. We eat everything. We're not just in one discipline. And then like what attraction? Because bro, there's so much. Yeah. I don't know what to do, and I go to Dallas frequently, but I value your opinion, like where you push me. So, do you guys have any reservations though when it comes to talking about this next topic? We started it. I just want to finish this last thing because Travis, I didn't hear who you would have wanted. Are you okay with Derek White? I know that Jamal is not okay with it. I am not a fan. I just wanted to know, like,
I'm not a fan. I don't believe that was the best choice, and I don't buy the explanation. And I've read through some Twitter posts and things like that of trying to track down, evidently, and I was not really overall aware of this, but Jaylen Brown's sort of battle with Nike, and that potentially playing a role in it, which to me, if that in any way had any effect on it, shame on Grant Hill. If for some reason either Nike placed a phone call, or even Grant Hill just knew that this might cause some sort of issue, that they're afraid Jaylen Brown might say something, might do something with the logo. If in any way that was some sort of concern, that makes me uneasy. But yeah, I mean, certainly I think Jaylen Brown would have been a better choice. I don't. If you're saying you wanted to, that you needed more guard play, well, I mean, Jaylen Brown's a shooting guard.
Yes.
I mean, so does he not handle the ball well enough that you can't rotate him through? Look, you've got plenty. I mean, like I said, LeBron's going to be playing point forward a lot. You got Jrue Holiday. You've got Steph. You don't necessarily. I mean, it just rings pretty hollow with me that you're leaving out what is an MVP type player for more of a role type player. Look, Derek White's a nice player.
Yeah,
there's nothing wrong with him.
A great playoff run.
But I look at the roster, and this is one of those weird situations, right, where you have a 12-man roster, nobody plays a 12-man rotation.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So one or two or three of these great players are not going to get the number of minutes they're hoping they're going to get throughout. And they might play 28 minutes one night and might play 9 minutes the next night. I mean, that's just kind of the way the Olympics goes, right? If Steph gets hot, he ain't coming off the floor. If LeBron gets hot, he ain't coming off the floor. But if they're cold, they're coming off the floor. And so you just have to play with that. But I kind of look at that roster, and Derek White looks to me like a guy who's going to sit at the end of the bench and not play a whole lot.
Odd man out. So what I wanted to play a quick game on that with you guys to say, because we're not this way, but you just can't say, well, I don't want him, but then you don't have the answer.
Uh-huh.
So I want to just float a couple names to you then and say, would you ever pick Derek White above these guys? Damian Lillard. Would you ever pick Derek White over Damian Lillard? Okay,
No.
You're both saying no. De'Aaron Fox from Sacramento Kings. Would you pick Derek White over De'Aaron Fox and all that speed? I'm trying to sell it. I shouldn't sell it.
That's a much closer comp from a standpoint of which skill set do I prefer and need. So yeah, I can see a situation where you might. I would say from an overall player standpoint, no, I still probably would not take Derek White.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would stick with Fox.
Yeah.
Wow, I was shocked.
Wasn't Fox on the team last year or the year before that? Or the years
the select
before that?
the under 20.
No, I think Fox was.
I think he was on the last roster too.
The last. I don't know what they call it. The basketball.
World Championships.
Thank you.
Okay.
The FIBA.
Yeah. Okay. I'll look that one. We'll see that. So he's got international play on his resume, which I think should be another point to help him. But I was shocked about that one. Now I think Jalen Brunson is still hurt, so I think that's why we didn't go with him. Maybe he's still hurt. I don't know how long. 2 months if you break your hand. Donovan Mitchell, and I'll only do two more after this. But Donovan Mitchell, would you go Spider-Man or would you go Derek White?
Man,
I know
He's good, but
wow, these aren't hard decisions for me. The people I'm bringing up were no-brainers for me.
For you?
But that's why I'm asking, because I got my opinion, and I like that you guys are hesitant. Why are you hesitant? Because there's been some big games with Donovan Mitchell.
100%.
He shows he could run a team, carry a team.
So but I guess when I'm looking at the rest of the roster, and this is the only part of Grant Hill's argument that rings any sense of truth, right? Is that when you're looking to replace a player like this, you're looking at the entire team and trying to go, what is there one more skill set I can add to this team?
Yeah.
Where if you add Donovan Mitchell, I'm looking at Donovan Mitchell as an offensive add, and he's a little a little more inconsistent than some of the guys that are already on the roster. So I just don't know that he adds from that standpoint. I think when you bring in Derek White in, this is the only. And by the way, Grant Hill didn't say this, so I'm not going to give him credit for it. But I think bringing Derek White in, I think you can see Derek White get some minutes defensively.
Yeah.
That some of those other replacements wouldn't give you those defensive minutes.
No.
Okay.
But I'm not going to give Grant Hill credit for it because he didn't say that. If he'd have come out and said, we felt like we needed to add one more defensive player to this team that could give us some value defensively. If he'd have said that, I'd have said, you know what?
No.
Okay.
I know Jamal wants to get in there.
Yeah.
But Jamal, let me just say this one thing right quick.
Go ahead.
Wait a minute.
Okay.
Did you see Jaylen Brown play defense on Luka? Because you're a Mavs fan.
Yes.
And you still want to stick with that statement because that looked like good enough defense to me.
Look. Once again, I'm not saying it's a decision I would have made.
Yeah.
As far as the picking Spider over Derek White, I'm still thinking of it as, okay, Kawhi's not gonna play. We have to find Kawhi's replacement. You know what I'm saying? So that's why, like, I'm so big on like Jaylen Brown and everything. Kind of got the same height. You know, Jaylen Brown plays good defense. He goes at bigs. You know,
Well, on the
stuff like that.
on the second team All NBA team, Jaylen Brown is listed in 2023. He was listed as a shooting guard, and Kawhi is listed as a small forward.
Right.
If we're the semantics of position,
right?
Yeah.
of what the position is called.
How tall is Luka?
Luka's 6'7".
6'7"?
Oh no, I think he's a little closer to 6'9".
Well, I think he's listed 6'7". He probably is. I will say that's a big discussion in Dallas because there's a lot of talk. He is listed as 6'7".
Yeah.
But when you watch him on the floor standing next to guys that we know are 6'9" and close to 6'10",
Yes.
he's right there height-wise
Yes,
with them.
sir.
So there's a lot of discussion about
Yes,
that.
sir.
We're in this era where they call it a positionless basketball league too, and talking about we need a shooting guard. Steph can shoot. KD, when he's healthy, can shoot.
Yeah.
AD might hit or miss sometimes. Apparently Embiid can hit threes now too. Like we D-Book, we have shooters on the team and mid-range game. Like,
see, the way I looked at it was you're taking away when you pull Kawhi out of the mix, whoever you're adding is now your 12th best player on this team.
absolutely.
Because I mean, there's no way about that because they were left off, right?
Yeah.
And so when you add the 12th best player, you pull Kawhi out and his skill sets, his height, his length, the role that you felt like he was going to serve, and I think you shuffle the other guys to fill that role, and then you're saying, okay, so now what 12th man can I bring in that at least is what I feel is the best 12th man out there? Look. Grant Hill's going to take a lot of grief for this, and if for some, let's hope and pray it doesn't come to this because I feel like this. I want this team to win gold, but if for some reason they don't, and it comes down to us missing a offensive skill set player that can fill up the bucket if needed and put a team on their shoulders, and because let's say Steph is cold and LeBron just isn't hitting and KD can't. All of a sudden, we're going to be going, you could have added Jaylen Brown, and you decided to go with Derek White, and Derek White played 8 minutes in the gold medal game, and USC got beat when you could have had. There's going to be a lot of talk after that if something like that happens.
Yeah.
So
I just wanted to ask you guys. There were two more people that I wanted to just mention. Ja Morant and DeMar DeRozan. So neither one of those would have been the two that would have swayed you guys over Derek White?
So DeMar, I would have listened. I would have been very intrigued at looking into adding DeMar DeRozan.
Okay.
Ja, from a skill set and from a player standpoint, yeah, I mean, he to me would be an obvious upgrade over Derek White.
Yeah.
Josh carrying around too much baggage right now.
He is carrying around too much baggage.
As Team USA, I just don't think I can bring him along.
Yeah.
I just can't do it.
And I can't believe I'm saying this, but if you would have actually brought Jaw actually would have been the 12th best player on that team, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And you guys mentioned earlier, I just wanted to offer one question then, because y'all were talking height. Have y'all seen the drama of the picture of Team USA? A lot of people came to some realizations here. Let me just read off a couple. What people learned from the photo: KD is not 6'11". He's 7 foot 7'1".
He definitely is.
Joel is not 7 foot. He's 7'2"ish. Tatum is not 6'9". He's close to 6'11" than 6'9".
Yep.
Did we learn something there? If you look at the photo, guys don't seem there's some differences there from what they're listed and what we all thought.
So here's my theory. One is that I believe most of these heights carry over from the NBA combine. For most of these guys, or they come from their if they weren't a combine guy, maybe it came from their college stats or something like that, which is always done in bare feet. Okay, so you put shoes on, you're going to be a little bit taller. And then my theory is I think a lot of these guys asked to be listed shorter because I think if you're really 6'9", but you're listed at 6'7", and you go out on the court and you make a big defensive block on somebody, I think it looks better. Hey, that 6'7" guy just jumped through the roof and got a big block on Joel Embiid or something like that. Yeah. As opposed to if you're 6'9", you go, oh well, that's my theory. That's my theory. Of course, I'm the guy that in high school I stuck a 10-pound weight in the back of my shorts because I was so light I needed to be heavier. Yeah. And so I'm on the other side of it. I was always trying to pump my stats up to hopefully the coaches would let me play. Yeah. But I think that's my theory on it anyway.
Okay. I was just kind of curious on that from you guys because that photo it went viral and there's been a lot of comments and I couldn't wait to hear you guys comment on it.
Yeah. So let's go ahead. We need to get to a break. We will come back on the other side. We got lots more to talk about. We can go in a lot of different directions right here on the Fans View. We are back on the Fans View, KAZI 88.7. Travis Kent alongside Jamal January. Sitting across from Douglas Washington, twisting and tweaking the dials. Thank you for that, Douglas. We appreciate that.
Pleasure.
So I want to mention real quick before we get into something else. I mentioned the 3-on-3 basketball. It's part of the Olympics now. And I thought Warren, because of what I feel is success of the Big Three League, right? Yeah. They've got network TV coverage. When I tune in, I'm pretty entertained. Obviously, Ice Cube is out front with it, and he when they tour it through the country now in different cities, and he does a great job, I think, of getting on the local media and hyping up the Big Three League, and I think it's interesting to see some of these older retired players get back into action, and so I'm confused as to why the 3-on-3 FIBA doesn't get a little more airplay, a little more push. And so when I was looking at the rosters, I noticed first thing that jumps out is Jimmer Fredette, right? I mean, so the shooting guard that captured America for a couple of years, really, for his three-point shooting. Canyon Barry is also a member of the team, Rick Barry's son. Yep. So you got that NBA lineage. Then Kareem Maddox and Dylan Travis round out the four-man squad. I got to admit, it's really hard to go out and find. Now, Team USA actually won the last World Tournament. And so they are one of the favorites going into the FIBA 3-on-3 tournament. But maybe I'm just off. I'm a sports junkie. You throw a sport on TV. We talked about this last week, right? You throw cricket on TV, and if I flip across it, I'm probably going to stop and watch for a little while, right?
It's entertaining.
FIBA 3-on-3, is it a USA thing or is it a FIBA thing? It's part of the Olympics. Why aren't they pushing it a little more to try to get a little more name recognition out of the 3x3 team? Yeah, I mean.
I'm stuck on that.
Does it interest you guys at all? Are you guys like, no, I just want to watch the 5-on-5 and I'm good? I mean,
Well, I want to hear Jamal's answer before I give mine, if you're okay, Jamal, because I come from a generation, and this is gonna get Travis going. I'm from the Hoop It Up generation, and Hoop It Up ain't hitting no more, and I don't understand
I
why.
don't either.
So I'm gonna say it's a new generation, and that's why I wanted to hear from you.
I guess speaking on my generation, I don't like using that term.
I know.
But you know, when the names of the guys Travis just named, you know, they don't have a lot of media and hype behind them. I know about Jimmer Fredette because, you know, I've watched, you know, March Madness my whole life and everything. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I bet if you put like a guy like what's the guy's name that shot so many to Jack Colgie from Oakland? I bet if you put him in in there, I feel like you'll probably get, you know, more viewers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Cooper Flag should join.
You know, it's one of these things where and I get it, right, because your first thought in theory, right, is take let's take Jaylen Brown and let's take all these names that we just talked about that aren't on Team USA. Well, let's take 4 of those guys and let's go over there and play 3-on-3 basketball.
The last 4 that missed.
Exactly. I mean, that's the first predominant thought. But there is a lot more to, you know, it's having teamwork and working together and playing all these qualifying tournaments and things like that. That the NBA players, they don't have time for that stuff, right? And so I get it on that, because you look at Team USA, and you know, Canyon Barry's 30 years old, Jimmer Fredette's 35, Kareem Maddox is 34, Dylan Travis is 31. They're all done with their international playing careers. They're not doing that anymore. This is just a way for them to hang on to the game. And so I 100% get why this thought that we had in our head of what 3-on-3 might be is a little disappointing to us, because you mean we aren't going to see big name players in this thing, so I'll just stick when Team USA plays, you know, France. I know I'm going to see Wemby, and I'm going to see, you know, the US. So I get that from a name standpoint. But I would be interested. I don't remember watching any of the games in the last Olympic cycle. I'm going to seek it out this time. I want to see what the game looks like on TV, and kind of get a sense of, is this something that holds my attention or not? Because it's, once again, exactly what you were talking about. I grew up in that Hoop It Up era too.
And it was big time.
I mean, the first one I remember was actually in Dallas, and they called it Hoop-de-Doo. And it drew, I can't remember how many teams, but it was a phenomenon, and that sprung, those guys then created the Hoop It Up brand, and then went nationwide with it, and there was a Hoop It Up tournament in Chicago and LA and Detroit and Miami, and it was everywhere for a number of years. And you're right, then it just kind of fell off the map.
I don't know how.
I don't either.
Because when I show
people are still playing pickup basketball, aren't they?
And it's always 3-on-3.
Yeah.
Because people think a 4-on-4 is too crowded to play half court. I never say that, but other people say that to me all the time. Oh no, a fourth is too many people. Okay, well, we only got these 3. So, you know, I really hate that. I hate to bust your bubble though, but Josh Okogie, that's who you were talking about.
Thank you so much.
He's a Nigerian American.
Are you
and
serious?
He plays for the Nigerian national. He immigrated to America when he was 3. Lived in Snellville, Georgia. Went to Shiloh High School. I moved here from Georgia. Went to Shiloh High School. But yeah, he represents the Nigerian national team, so you can't have him. Although he grew up, he's American. You're not hearing an accent or anything.
The guy that just
Josh Okogie
from Oakland University or whatever
plays for the Phoenix Suns.
No. The guy that just got drafted,
got
for the OKC Summer League team, that was shooting all the threes in March Madness. That dude.
He went to George Mason. That guy. There's a couple of
George
coaches.
Mason?
Okay, so then
It just happened.
I'll give you
I
that
can't
one.
get
Sorry.
his
So I
name.
thought you were going there, but that brings me to the next point. I wanted to lean you guys into this next one. Then, do you guys have any problems with Joel Embiid being on this team? Because there's a lot of talk.
Travis Bader. think that's the guy.
I know. I thought it had a Nigerian.
Oh no, Jack Golke. That's what you're talking about.
Okay.
That's what you're talking about. Jack Golke.
I thought you said Okoji. So
I did. I messed it up. My
All right.
apologies.
So, Joel Embiid says, "I'm playing with America because I came here. I have a son who is American, and it'd be hard to talk to him about why I'm playing for another team and not for the USA team. You guys remember he was born in Cameroon, left there at 15, and he just a few years ago got his French citizenship. And that France, we know France is powerhouse right now with all the talent they have, and that just would have been another guy. Do you guys have a problem with him playing with the USA team?
I mean, I don't have a problem with him playing with the USA team, but actually Corey actually said this about a month ago that Embiid was telling Cameroon that he was ready to play for them, and then he told France, "Yeah, I'm ready to play for y'all too." And then of course we get even closer and closer, and it's like, "Oh well, if you can't beat him, join him."
I'm thinking, did he see Wemby coming and he thought, "Nah, man," because what are they going to make Wemby the power forward and make Joel the center, or make Joel a power forward? I thought I was thinking that's another reason why he decided. And we certainly need him because there's a big European over there named Joker, and we got to deal with that. So I was just wondering if you guys were okay with.
But fouling out in the third quarter is terrible.
Yeah.
What, 2 points? I think only he contributed.
Okay,
Like,
we'll see.
does that go to show like during the NBA season, there's a lot of fouls on Embiid that don't get called?
Yeah.
Do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I thought there was a referee after the Shaquille O'Neal years. It came out that he was telling Shaq, he was like, "Hey man, we don't have enough time. It's a boring. If we call every foul on you, it'd be a boring game, and you'd be at the free throw line taking 25 every game." I mean, when I play pickup, I'm gonna tell you this. I weigh 230 pounds, and there are a lot of guys weigh less than me, even though they're taller. I'm a short dude, but I am, I'm strong, right? So sometimes I end up on big boys. If I foul a big boy, I don't want you calling all the time, big boy,
right?
Because you're coming down, you're putting your chest, you're trying to power ball, you're swinging the ball through. You got to anticipate a little contact. Now, when I'm playing my normal guard position and I'm driving the ball and people are hand checking and pulling and dragging and they're slapping me around, I do want those calls. I don't call it all the time, but I do expect that call because it's a little different when it comes to my movement, and I'm supposed to be moving fast and running downhill. So I think as a big man, I agree, you got to kind of take a little bit because you're playing the tough guy, the brawler style. You're backing people down, like you're initiating contact. You're asking for something, so you got to give some. Is the way I see it.
Yeah.
Do you guys see it different?
No, that sounds about right. It's we could do a series of shows on the evolution of officiating.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, I'm one that happens to believe that in both college and the NBA nowadays, you can kind of dictate the way the game gets called by the aggressiveness of how you want to play defense, because referees are kind of trained and taught now, don't be the focal point of the game.
Yeah.
And so if you go out and you say, we're going to play belly up defense on all five of you, and there's going to be a lot of contact, the referees have to make that decision early that we're either going to have to call 5 fouls in the first 2.5 minutes and stop it, or we have to let it go, and it's going to be that way all game.
Yeah.
And they usually trend towards not making those calls and letting it go that way. And I feel bad for the teams that play a different style of defense and play more of a team help defense, because you know that you're. I mean, I'm not saying it would have been a different outcome or whatever, but the Mavericks versus the Celtics was a prime example. The Celtics were playing. They just decided on the guards and Luka for the Mavericks, they were just going to play inside their underwear defense.
Yeah,
and that's the way it was going to be. And did Kyrie and Luka and all the ball handlers for the Mavericks, did they have a lot of bruises on their arm after that series was over? They did, because there was a lot of stuff that went uncalled. But what are the refs supposed to do? I would say the refs are supposed to make a bunch of calls early to put some of that contact on ice. But I don't think that that's the way the referees are instructed to call the games anymore. So,
Yeah, no, I think the league tells them we want it up and down. We want them moving and grooving. Don't stop it. It's not the 80s. We don't want that 80s ball anymore.
Yeah.
We don't want games that are 78 to 80. Travis and I remember when games would be at the end and the Knicks beat the Pacers 74 to 69, and that was the score.
And they don't ever want that again.
No.
They don't ever want that again. And they also don't want, they don't want 8 minutes left in the first quarter, and Jrue Holiday has 2 fouls and Jaylen Brown has 2 fouls. They can't have that. They can't have it because it changes too much of the tactical part of the game. And I'm not a big fan of turning away from the rule book, but I get it. I from a number standpoint, I understand. So
We've mentioned him a few times before. Why is Jrue Holiday on the team? He wasn't first team. I don't see him second. Is it because he's got the two rings he won with the Bucks?
No.
And then because he run with the Celtics? Because is it because Jalen Brunson's hurt? I was just kind of curious because we brought his name up a few times here, and I'm asking myself, did you guys have him rated as possibly one of the best guards in the league?
No, literally strictly defensive purposes. He played exceptional defense in that game against Canada.
But he's the only guy, not the only guy because Dirk White's not, but you don't see him first team, second team, third team. And
True, but you also mentioned the resume. He has Team USA basketball experience too, if I remember that correctly.
okay,
So,
all right.
he's been there. So.
Hey, and he's got a great agent, of course.
Yeah.
Apparently, because he's doing good. But 2 rings, that's a great narrative there. To walk away from Giannis and still get another ring. I'm sure he's respected, certainly by guys on the team.
And
if
he was starting.
if he's going to be the point guard. Yeah,
He was starting.
You
That
need
was really
you need
shocking.
cachet, I
Yeah.
think. And aside from Chris Paul, maybe Damian Lillard, who I mentioned, but you guys. Now, I didn't ask you, would you pick over Jrue Holiday, but that's those are the things I think when I hear you talk. That's where my response was. Yeah. So we gonna do a little Cowboys.
yeah, we can do some Cowboys.
We got a little time. So, is there a place you wanted to start? He didn't he ask about? I think he wanted to start with one of your
CD.
receivers.
CD.
Yeah,
So we'll see.
CD.
Yeah.
What say you? Breakout, dominating. What are we expecting out of CD? I want to start with CD. What are your expectations?
Well, first of all, so here's number one is it'll be interesting when we get to camp if he's a holdout or a hold in. But he will not be on the practice field because I don't believe there's going to be a contract done when camp starts.
Yep.
But I believe his deal will get done. And the thing about CD is you can just lock down 90 catches for 1,200 yards. I mean, that's like his year-over-year average. I mean, like he's clearly cemented himself as a top 5 wide receiver. Now, you don't have the theatrics that you have with some other, Justin Jefferson or Jamar Chase. Go up and high point a ball with one hand and bring it down. He's much more of an Amari Cooper style wide receiver, which is kind of odd because that's. Amari was on that roster when CD came in, so it kind of makes sense. And there was a lot of talk about how much Amari worked with CD early on with footwork and how to get in and out of a break and things like that. And I don't know how accurate that was or wasn't, but it certainly seems like that's the style of wide receiver he is. And I want CD a part of this team, and I want him part of this team for a long time. I think this deal will get done.
When Travis?
I don't know,
because West Texas, the rest of us,
yeah,
this is what West Texas want. Here goes, people. Man, we tired of y'all's drama.
We are too. I am too.
Final year of Dak contract. Final year of McCarthy. This guy goes out 135 catches, 1,700 yards, 12 touchdowns, and he didn't get extended.
Yeah.
What? Why the drama? Why the Cowboys do you have to do this? Do you think it's because? Well, we were going to wait and see what happens to Dak and McCarthy before we extend this guy, and we're stuck with him in that contract. Is that it? No.
I think it's a lack of experience with the general manager position. I think it's not having and by the way, when we talk about, we beat the whole Jerry Jones GM thing to death, right?
Yes, sir.
The real person running the personnel department for the Cowboys is Will McClay. He runs the draft. He runs the scouting department. He's the guy that I believe is floating every name out. I do believe that Steven and Jerry, for whether it's ego or whatever, are the ones who make the final decision. But I think that they lean heavily on Will McClay. He is the general manager without the title. I'm sure he gets paid like other general managers do, which keeps him happy and keeps him from going elsewhere just to get the title. But ultimately, nobody gets signed until Jerry says it's time to sign.
Okay, Micah Parsons,
and so
should be signed.
And so this is where it ends up for me. Is that as we get closer to camp, I do not believe that Dak is going to have a contract. I think he's going to play his final year without a contract, and I think that's Dak. I think right now it's Dak's decision.
So McCarthy's not getting extended either.
I think McCarthy's not going to get an extension, and Dak's not going to get an extension,
and Micah's not.
And no, I think Micah and CD will get an extension to get them on the field. Because, one, I don't think CD will step on a field without a new contract.
Doesn't seem that way.
Micah, I'm not so sure about. Micah's kind of been back and forth. Like, he showed up for the OTAs, but then they kind of held him out of workouts. He took some promotional pictures. He's trying to play the I'm still a good Cowboy, yet because I think he truly believes he will get a deal. I think CD, part of his deal, which, by the way, this is kind of going back to Zeke and his holdout, was I think CD's afraid he's going to be the odd man out in the shuffle. But from CD's standpoint, I don't think that's the case. I think Dak is 100% comfortable with betting on himself.
Mm-hmm. Well, then I got to ask you this then. If CD is going to get paid, he has to get paid as one of the top wide receivers in the game.
He does.
So we gave $35 to Justin Jefferson, $32 to A.J. Brown. Amon-Ra St. Brown was a 4th-round pick, and he's getting $30 million per season. So do you think there's hesitancy in the Cowboys organization to go out and make him one of the highest paid receivers? Do you think that factors in?
No,
is money the issue?
I don't think money's the issue. I mean, it's an issue to me because, once again, they could have extended him last year for $30 million. Now they're going to have to probably pay him $36. Yep. And so, once again, this staff for Dallas continues to play. I mean, what did Jerry say back before the draft? He was saying we want to see more leaves fall to the ground, or however he phrased it.
That sounds right.
And I'm like, man, you're costing yourself money every time you wait on some of these guys. And I get it, because he's made some, he used to be the guy that signed everybody because he was nostalgic. He didn't want anybody to get away. Now he's the guy that waits too long and ends up having to overpay for everybody. But and so I get it that Jerry can't be a win-win, but then again, he's also not a very good football man, so I'm not going to cut him any slack. But, look, I think before opening day, Micah and CD will both have deals. I think that it will be. I think the Cowboys are content that neither one of them necessarily needs a training camp. So, or at least much of one, and so I don't think they feel pressure to necessarily. Now, I would actually disagree on the Micah side of it. I would get Micah done as quickly as possible.
Yes.
Because I think he and Mike Zimmer need, Micah still talks about how good of friends he was with Dan Quinn.
Yep.
But he and Mike Zimmer need to become pretty close friends here pretty soon.
Yes.
And so my urgency would be with Micah first. And I'm just guessing here that there have been enough conversations that CD is just like, whether the conversations we're trying to get him in the $32 million range, and CD's like, nope, the bar's set at 35. If it's not at 35, I'm not signing on a dotted line. But I feel eventually, I think CD's going to get what he wants, and I think it will be probably in the middle of camp. Somewhere between maybe the first and second preseason game, so that you get him back on the field, you get his work in, and he's ready for opening day. That's my gut feeling. And like I said, I think Dak is willing to bet on himself and just go, look, I'll play this year on the end of my contract, and if you want to sign me next year, you're going to have to match whatever the market's willing to pay me. He goes, because I'm about to go out and win an MVP. I think that's what Dak is thinking this year. He goes, I'm about to go win an MVP. So you can wait as long as you want, but somebody's going to pay me.
Yeah.
So that's just my gut feeling on the whole thing. So, we kind of joke about this every week because somebody always calls in and goes, "Let's talk about the Cowboys."
Yeah.
And I try to deflect as much as I can.
I know. You never come in here trying to lead.
Yeah, this season, obviously, a lot riding on the line for the Cowboys, and I don't know. Yeah, I'm reserving what we'll do predictions later as we get closer to the season, but I'm in the process of trying to figure out what I think of this team, and how much do I think they're really a 12-5 team and a Super Bowl contender, or are they just a team that things fell right for last year because the Eagles all of a sudden went in the tank at the end of the year, and so it's but. Hey, everybody just keep listening. We'll talk more about it. I'm getting more at ease about talking about it. I had to take a break for a while. So, all right, we need to get to a break. We'll come back on the other side right here on the Fans View, KAZI 88.11. Travis Kent alongside Jamal January. And across from Douglas Washington, who is on the board today, and we appreciate that. And we got another segment, so we can get your calls in also 512-836-2887 if you'd like to get your comments in. Mentioned the All-Star Game is in Arlington, first time in 30 years since it was at the ballpark in Arlington.
Wow, didn't know it was that long.
Yeah, so
what do they have against you guys?
Of course, when previous to the ballpark in Arlington being built, Arlington Stadium was essentially a minor league stadium that they just put enough stands in to get it up to like 25,000. So it was not a very good ballpark. So there was never an all-star game at old Arlington Stadium. And so the Rangers didn't really have any chance of getting a big game like that until the ballpark in Arlington was built. And then they obviously did get an all-star game. It's just not part of the rotation. One, it was an outdoor stadium and hot in the middle of July.
Yeah.
Right? And so my guess would be they used the new ballpark for the World Series during the pandemic, right?
Yeah.
And now they've got the All-Star game there. My guess is that both Houston and Arlington will become a part of the regular rotation because it's a dome stadium. Because both of them have retractable roofs and you can control the environment. It's just they've always tried to get the All-Star game because it's in the second week of July. into the coolest climate they can get it in.
Yeah.
But I think now both Houston and the Texas Rangers have put themselves in a position to be part of a regular rotation because, okay, it's an indoor stadium. Yes, we got to go to Houston, and it's going to be 98 degrees and 98% humidity, but it is indoors. And the same thing in Dallas. So I think we'll see it more on a regular basis.
I want to give you your flowers, Travis. You're a pretty humble guy, but for the first time since 1934, the Midsummer Classic is being held by the reigning world champion.
Yes, that's right.
And that's a good bragging right.
Yeah.
No matter whether y'all go on to win it this year or 2 years from now, I mean, you got this moment.
Yeah.
How's that make you feel?
It feels fantastic. You know, it's going to be a lot of fun to watch the game. You know, the Rangers only have two. Marcus Semien. Semien gets to start because Altuve is injured. So Simeon's going to get to start, and then we've got the reliever. What's the guy's name? Oh gosh, it'll come to me in a second. And then, well, I guess you can count Adolis Garcia is going to be in the home run contest. He's not on the team, but he's going to be in the home run derby.
I got him winning.
Oh,
you know what? I think that's probably a decent bet right there.
Yeah.
Friendly confines and familiarity and hopefully from a Ranger standpoint that'll kind of jumpstart the second half of the season for him. But it's going to be nice. You know, Bruce Bochy, because they're defending most of those of you that don't know, the World Series managers from the previous year are the All-Star managers the next year.
Yeah.
So Bruce Bochy is going to get to coach the American League team in his own ballpark, which is going to be very neat to see him and his coaching staff on the bench. And so, I'm looking forward to sort of Arlington being able to celebrate, not only being able to celebrate the World Series, but then now celebrate having an All-Star game here. It's going to be a fun night.
The top overall vote getters: Aaron Judge, Bryce Harper. You guys got any problems with that?
No.
Automatically earning their top spot.
I think the only thing that was a little bit of a surprise was that Shohei didn't end up being the top vote getter in the National League.
I am shocked by that. I am.
That does show while Bryce Harper is a little bit of a controversial figure sometimes. He's got a lot of detractors, a lot of people that not about his game, but kind of about his attitude and who he is.
Yep.
But that does show how great of a player people think he is, that he gets the voting nod over Shohei, because I don't know that there's any more popular player in the game right now than Shohei.
And he's international.
Yeah.
Like I hate to say this, I thought all of Asia would be voting for Shohei.
Yeah.
There. Okay, one other question then, just about the rosters. 2 Yankees. You guys have Juan Soto and Aaron Judge, both. And they're both to be playing, they're listed as outfielders. They're both to be playing in the field. You guys okay with 2 Yankees teams, or 2 Yankees players being on it? They're not even number 1 over there in the American League East. Baltimore is still on top. So you guys are okay with that, those 2?
Yeah, I mean,
doesn't sway you?
No, I mean, look, Judge is one of the most popular players in the game as well.
Yeah.
He's having a great season. He's leading the league in home runs, and so I'm certainly okay with that. I don't know. Clay Holmes, I'm not going to sit here and tell you I can run off Clay Holmes stats for you, but I'm fine with it. I'll tell you the one player I'm feeling bad for right now, because we've had a couple of injury replacements.
Yeah.
Josh Smith for the Texas Rangers. He's been filling in at third base for Josh Young after he got hit in the third week of the season on the wrist and hasn't been able to get back into the lineup yet. But Josh Smith I think he's top 5 in like 5 major categories at third base as a sort of as a journeyman utility player, but he's getting full-time play at third base. He's leading the Rangers in average. He's got a decent power. His OPS is like 828. I mean, his numbers are all-star worthy, and yet we've had a second player named as a replacement for an injury, and Josh Smith hasn't been named yet. And so that's a little, from a deserving standpoint. Look, and by the way, if you want to talk deserving, Marcus Semien doesn't deserve to be on this team.
Hey.
Okay, Marcus Semien is not having a good year this year. He is struggling mightily, but he's going to be starting at second base in the All-Star game. So maybe things are evening out, right? It goes, hey, we can't put a deserving guy on because you guys already have a non-deserving guy on the team. But
I was going to say, is it for his age as a veteran presence? He's 33. Is that what we're going with?
It could be. I don't know.
Yeah. That's tough. You on that Rangers. I was trying. Did we get that pitcher?
Kirby Yates.
Okay.
Kirby Yates.
Okay.
Yeah, the reliever for.
He's from Hawaii.
Yates is?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Lihu, Hawaii.
Lihu.
What a shock. He's not that tall too. He's only 5'10".
Wow.
That's a shock to me because they only have one other guy, David Robertson, on their roster for the Rangers that's under 6 foot, and I just thought it was already in that direction. If you would have told me that there's a 5'10" or 5'11" guy, well, of course Yates is the 5'10". I won't lump in David Robertson, but yeah, I didn't think we were going with the shorter guy, but yeah, thought we were going with big guys.
So what I'm looking forward to in this game. So Paul Skeens with Pittsburgh. Obviously, he gets called up. Guys just throws absolute gas. Has a no-hitter through 7 and gets pulled the other day.
Yeah, that was tough.
Yeah.
I was not a fan of that.
But you know he made this All-Star team even though he's only been up for a month and a half. But he clearly deserves. I mean,
6-0.
Yeah, exactly. He's clearly deserving of being there. It's going to be fun. I want to see what part of the game they put him in. Obviously, it's an all-star hitting lineup, but I kind of hope they put him in against like the heart of the order, and let him just go out there and throw 104, and see if you can throw it by. You know, can you throw it by Judge? I mean, let's go test you. Come on, young man. Let's go test. Yeah. So
his last 7 days, out of the 14 innings that he's been in, 2 games, he's got 19 strikeouts.
Yes.
That's getting it. And versus the AL, I mean, he's 13. He's only had 13 innings against the AL and 17 strikes. I'm a fan, and I think. You know, we say chicks dig the long ball. We like gas.
So if I'm guessing right now, the heart of the order for the American League, at least early in the game, right, until the subs start coming in, is going to be some combination of Vlad Guerrero Jr., Aaron Judge, and Yordan Alvarez. Those guys, I expect those guys to be 3, 4, and 5 in the order.
Okay.
And that's where I want to see Skeens come in the game.
Well, I like.
I want to see him. I want to see him come in the game and face those guys.
That's fair. Get your popcorn ready.
Yeah, exactly.
Give the fans what they want.
Who are you guys' favorite players that you guys are watching? For me, it's the juniors, Fernando Tatis and Vlad Jr. I'm a fan of both. I am a little bit of a Bryce Harper watcher. I got a little history with Bryce Harper. Are there any of these guys that you guys are pretty excited about? Like, are y'all Aaron Judge fans?
Yeah, sometimes. But my main guy got hurt, Altuve. So he's not playing.
Yeah. And Travis, anybody
So
that you're excited about on either roster?
I kind of like Fernando Tatis Jr. as well. Of course, Fernando Tatis was a former Ranger.
Yes, that's right. I thought.
You know, I'm really happy for Jurickson Profar as well. You know, Profar was the #1 overall prospect in the Rangers organization. He got called up. He was blocked a little bit at second base because I I think that was transitioning out of. Oh gosh, what was the guy's name? He ended up going to Detroit, and then Rugnet Odor came in, and Rugnet Odor, by the way, Profar just didn't hit. Like, he just did not hit. In fact, they tried to move him to center field, and then finally ended up just dealing him away. And this is his second stint back with San Diego, right? So it hasn't been all. I mean, Profar's in the All-Star game and starting as an outfielder in the All-Star game, but. It hasn't been an easy route for Profar. He went to San Diego, then I think he went to Milwaukee, and then he's back at San Diego again. And he's just right now finding his stride as a former overall top prospect in minor league baseball. So really happy for him. And so I would say outside of the Rangers, those are the two guys. I've always kind of been a closet San Diego fan.
Oh.
I don't know what it is. I think the Padres nickname, I think, is a different type of nickname, speaking to all the missions that are in the San Diego area. I actually kind of, I know a lot of people don't like the brown and gold color scheme. I kind of like it. I kind of think it's a cool color scheme.
It's a good looking hat too.
It is a good looking hat. So I've kind of always been a closet Padres fan. So
Well, the Tony Gwynn years, that's during
that didn't hurt.
my era.
That didn't hurt, right? The fact that they had Tony Gwynn.
And who was that pitcher that had the face hair and chewed the tobacco? Who was he? He was a reliever.
Catfish Hunter?
No, recently.
Oh, recently.
In the last 12 years or so. Oh, I can't think of his name. I really like Travis Hoffman.
Trevor Hoffman.
I like Trevor Hoffman. He just seemed like he was steely.
Yeah.
And so I used to watch him. I used to like watching him come in, get some saves.
Yeah.
I liked him. The name Benito Santiago was big. I wasn't following him at that time.
Yeah.
They've had some players. They've had some good. Were you a Ken Caminiti fan?
Oh yeah.
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 Gary Templeton.
Yeah.
Okay. So they've had some guys that we've all kind of out there on the coast that we were all fans of. Does anybody like the Ted Williams history there? Ted Williams.
No.
Yeah, Ted Williams played for them.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, hometown sensation Ted Williams joined the Pacific Coast League Padres at the age of 17.
Oh, so that was when they were a minor league team.
After graduating from Herbert Hoover High School in June, and on their Hall of Fame, they have him in there. They're holding to Ted Williams. They're claiming they use that. I mean, everyone's got to get a piece. Remember, wasn't his head frozen?
Yes.
And say, yeah, literally, everyone's got to get a piece.
That's right.
Of him. Man, I like the Padres. I've always kind of watched them here and there, but Tony Gwynn was the big one. Baseball, second half of the season.
Yeah.
Baltimore, can they hold off the Yankees? Are they going to stay on top? They're only up by 2. You guys have a good feeling there, or will the Yankees shine through?
I like Baltimore.
Oh.
I mean, you know what? They won 102 games last year.
Yeah.
Obviously, they kind of ran into the buzzsaw that were the Rangers at the end of the year last year. This is a team that pitches well and hits well. They're really well-rounded. I like Baltimore. I think Baltimore's going to hold them off.
I like that. Then if I don't watch a lot of Central, I gotta admit, but okay, Cleveland is on top. They got a 4.5 game lead over Minnesota. Anybody leaning a direction there? Anyone attracted to the Cleveland Guardians over the Minnesota Twins?
The Guardians, they don't lose at home right now. I think they're 30-11 at home so far this season. You lock down your home field like that, you're going to be tough to supplant.
Then you just sold me. Then.
Yeah, I think that's it right now for me with Cleveland. Is I think they're probably going to win the Central, just because if they continue to play this way at home, you're just not gonna knock them out of that top spot.
I'm holding out for Detroit as a dark horse. I just wanted to. My office mate, next door neighbor, his office is next to mine. Anyway, he's a Detroit guy. I'm doing it for him because this guy talks everything Michigan. So I'd love to see them rise from the depths. They got a long ways to go, but we'll see. Okay, Mariners are on top. This is the division. This is the one. Mariners are on top. Can they hold off Houston and Texas? Oh, Jamal's actually thinking about it.
I'm going to let Jamal go first because
You're actually
I don't know,
you're not sold on them.
I mean, I kind of am a little bit, but
You're a
I'm going for Houston, man.
You're a
I'm
homer.
rooting so hard for them, even though my emotions been going up and down with Houston this whole season.
Yeah.
We'll see.
I don't think Seattle holds on. I don't think they hit well enough.
Really?
There's not enough offense there, and Houston and Texas are getting healthy now.
Travis, you okay? It's a big difference, but you just said Cleveland and their home record, and 30-18 at home is pretty good for those Mariners.
It's pretty good, but it's like I said, they just don't hit the ball well enough, and I think towards this, and look, I think Houston's getting healthy and Houston's going to win the division. Okay. Texas, if Josh Young, if his wrist, and by the way, Josh Young has made a number of rehab starts in Round Rock.
Yeah.
Something in that wrist either hasn't healed well enough, or there's something going on with that wrist. I don't know if he's going to get back to 100% and be back on the field or not. But if Josh Young gets back, Evan Carter's back needs to get healthy. If we can get Evan Carter back on the field, and then this pitching staff is kind of rounding into pretty good form over the last several weeks. The bullpen's been pretty good. The starting pitching is getting even better. Scherzer back on the mound has helped a lot. Scherzer's looked really good since he's come back. I think Texas is going to make a run. The interesting part is going to be when trade deadline comes around. By the way, I think the trade deadline is only a couple weeks away.
Yeah.
I think the Astros are going to catch the Mariners by the trade deadline.
Well, okay, these next 3 games.
This weekend is a big series for the Rangers.
No. I meant for the Mariners. They're about to play 3 straight against the Los Angeles Anaheim Angels. Those are all wins. They just smacked them around Thursday 11-0.
Yeah.
And you
LA's no
said
good.
they don't hit good. Then nothing makes you healthy than a really bad team.
Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, that's
another 3-game lead.
The Rangers took 2 out of 3 from LA, scoring 22 runs in 2 games. So yes, it's
that doesn't. You're not scared of that?
No,
3 games coming up here?
no, but because the bigger series is this weekend. Texas and Houston play in Houston.
Yeah,
and so that's the big series.
Okay,
and it will say a lot about one. The Rangers are playing better, but are they playing well enough to really get themselves into the race or not? If Houston takes 2 out of 3 from the Rangers, then you're looking at the Rangers having over 50 losses in the first half of the season. It's, by the way, we're past the first half. It's not really All-Star Game's not really at the halfway mark, but we treat it as that anyway.
Yes, we do.
We're already 90-something games into this season, so let's just keep playing along with that game and say it's halfway, right? If the Rangers get beat 2 out of 3. Then the Astros are going to catch the Mariners by the All-Star break.
Yeah.
I mean, not by the All-Star break, by the trade deadline, and I think the Astros are going to end up not running away with, but I think they're going to have a comfortable 2 or 3 game lead by the end of the year over Seattle.
Jamal, watch this. So, Travis, could we talk about what happened on the final game of that series that the Rangers had against Los Angeles and that 7-2 loss? You want to talk about that?
It's just all this. They had bases loaded twice in the 4th inning and the 5th inning and got no runs out of it. That's what happened.
I just wanted to give you the jab. It's just mind-boggling there. I was just like, wait.
You had bases loaded.
That's the game you lose?
You had bases loaded and 1 out in the 4th inning of a 4-4 game not 4-4 game.
2-2.
2-2 game.
Yeah.
And you had Wyatt Langford and Adolis Garcia both come up and got no runs out of it.
Yeah.
And then I think in the next inning, they had bases loaded again as well, and didn't get any runs out of it. It's I guess it just happens. It bees that way sometimes.
No, but these are going to be fun games. So Jamal, are you going to watch any of these 3 games? Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Texas, Houston.
I'm gonna try and watch all of them.
Oh, okay.
I mean, let me see.
Travis, you got you got it within your schedule?
Oh, heck yeah! Afternoon baseball Saturday and Sunday.
Sunday's 1:00. We got a primetime game tonight, 7:00.
Yes, so primetime tonight. Then afternoon game Saturday and Sunday. Man, I wish my parents still lived in the Houston area.
Yeah.
If my parents lived in the Houston area, I'd probably go to Houston this weekend.
I was gonna say, do you think the attendance is gonna be worth it? Just coming off of the hurricane slamming in. I don't know if people are in the mood or not in the mood to go.
There's still a lot of people without power in the Houston area. So my guess is that it will still be well attended. But you're right. There's a lot of people in the Houston area have other things on their minds right now.
Yeah. So
our thoughts and prayers are with them as well.
Agreed. And so now I feel bad because here I am talking about I'm trying to get a caravan of us all who want to go watch some good baseball to go on out there because I'm alleging that there's going to be good seats to be had.
Very well may be.
But now I don't want to push that anymore. I'm just gonna stay distracted. If I could just say it though, we don't know because they were on that road stint. They were in Miami for 3 games, and so they're coming back. So we just don't know. I'm just assuming that there are going to be good seats to be. I used to live in Houston, so I'm just gonna say that's what I think. That people are not going to be there, but I guess we'll find out. It's a great series to come back to the ballpark too.
Yep.
And those of us who are living around here up in Dallas,
if you're in the Houston area and you need something to take your mind off of what's going on, heading out to go watch the Astros, what you hope is beat up on the Rangers, would probably be a good idea.
Or if you got some family or friends out there and you want to do something good for them, go and buy them a ticket, send them out to the game.
Yeah, that's true.
Gift a ticket to a great series.
Yeah,
that they would be interested in because there's drama. I ain't nothing but blood. I'm surprised you said you got that Houston love sitting across from a Rangers fan. I'm surprised you guys don't want to arm wrestle right now. I would expect that out of Corey, but you, Jamal, did not see that coming.
My apologies.
So you are an Astros fan?
Absolutely. My mom's from Houston, so.
Oh, I apologize. I missed that. Did you know that, Travis?
I don't know that I was aware of it. We don't talk a ton of baseball.
Okay. Yeah.
And now I don't remember last year during the playoff push, and then through the I don't remember. I think we were just both talking. I think all of us were talking about how great it is that Texas and Houston were both going to be in the playoffs, and we didn't really care who won the division. We thought we thought both of them had a good chance to go to the World Series. And so I don't really think we really got into any in-depth battles like that because I think we were just touting that both teams were really good.
Yeah, and I am glad that the winner of the World Series was either the Rangers or the Astros.
Oh, okay.
I wasn't too mad about it. As long as it wasn't the Dodgers, I'm cool.
The Dodgers. Well, I used to live out there. I got a lot of friends. Let's see. No, we only got someone up there in Seattle area that's listening in Washington State. So I guess I can make fun of the Dodgers right now because no one's listening.
Shohei gets voted in as the DH. Which means you can't pitch him.
Yep.
Wow.
Okay.
Or you can't start him.
Oh.
I guess you could put him in at pitcher. Do you lose the DH if you put him in at pitcher later in the game?
Wow. I don't know the answer to that. That's do you want to?
I don't know.
The fans want to see it.
I mean, they got plenty of pitching. This is a pitching-heavy staff for the National League. They don't really need him to pitch. Like I said, they got Skeens. This is a really, if you go through Imanaga from the Mets, who's been fantastic. By the way, won me some money when I was out in Lake Tahoe. Imanaga, where he is locked down. Nobody's scoring in the first 5 innings against that guy. I guarantee you that. So this is a pitching-heavy staff for the National League, so they don't need him to pitch. So it'll be interesting to see what they decide to do.
Do you? I was just gonna say, I think this is a changing of the guard when it comes to the All-Star team. We had so many people. It's their first time making the All-Star roster. So I think we've just turned it over, and I'm excited about that. I'm excited for the young guys that are coming in. 19 players under the age of 27. So.
It is. It's no Mike Trout this year. Guy's been I really wish LA could move him and get him somewhere where he has a chance to win.
I know. Get him out of there. So you guys, on the way out, I'll just say Baltimore Orioles shortstop Gunnar Henderson, 22 years old, the youngest player on the AL team after being elected as a starter by the fans.
One heck of a player.
So
that kid.
If you want to watch somebody,
that kid can play.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Because we got some DC, Maryland that are streaming right now, so I thought I'd try to
there you go.
end on that positive.
All right. Well, we appreciate everybody listening. We appreciate the callers, and we'll see you back here next week on the Fans View, KAZI 88.7.